Hey guys! Alright, so as mentioned in my UWU video that I posted not too long ago, this is going to be the thought process video that I've been wanting to make since a long time ago, and since Ultimates is something that I've been doing more recently, I felt like this was fitting for me to explain why I do things differently rather than just following guides or logs alone. So yeah, here's my first thought process video, and I hope this doesn't turn out to be an awkward video. But if you have any questions, feel free to drop by my stream during the weekend, 6 p.m. EST, or you can leave your comments down below if you like as well. Alright, so enjoy the video. Alright, so as promised, oh my goodness, this video is so difficult to make, but I guess I'll be breaking down phase by phase and explaining my thought process about certain things. This is going to be a long video because I'm going to be explaining like certain things and hopefully that I can get my message out there. But yeah, I guess without further ado, let's probably get started. Holy. Alright, so nothing too fancy, I guess. Titan opener. Alright, Titan opener. I probably will skip a little bit because there's nothing really fancy going on over here except you delay your DWT for 3 GCDs. Well, not 3 GCDs, but you get what I mean. Kind of just delayed. So DEATHFLARE over here will hit all your plumes. And as a summoner, if you don't kill the plume, you're pretty much doing something wrong. But just watch for the Spiny though, because the Spiny can actually die really fast. Alright, so if you notice over there, I kind of used a swift cast into an outburst just to be safe, and just so I can kill all the spiny plumes. All the satin plumes, Jesus, not the spiny plume. Just so I can kill all the satin plumes safely without worrying about whether they leave or not. You can also use like a swift cast into a Ruin 3, which is also okay. But it's all up to, just all up to the situation. If the satins are actually dying, then swift cast into a Ruin 3 onto Garuda, it's also okay. And if you notice over here, I kind of used like one insta-cast of Ruin 2 into a Fester, because over here, as you notice, Spiny still does have 12 seconds off my dots over there. So it's still okay. I just want to help my tank out a little bit, so the others can just focus on the boss when she respawns. Right, over there, Spiny dies. Over here, 2 casts. Right, my Q over here is 3 seconds, and then a hard cast. Alright, nothing too fancy. So let's say, for example, if you're playing Summoner and you notice that you have to play fake melee, right? My cue to move in is whenever my energy drain comes off cooldown. So I did a mistake right here, where I kind of just bashed my energy drain because I thought, you know, it's coming off cooldown, it's coming off cooldown, I gotta press it. You don't have to rush, right? It's not necessary to rush as long as you don't clip, right? But just take your time. My Q is when energy drain is off cooldown, I use 1 stack of my Eggy, and then energy drain, and I cleanse. If you have to play as a fake melee. So this was my Q. But it will vary from people to people, or from person to person, from player to player, because it depends on whether or not you use your skills off cooldown. So I think in my case, I kind of did it in a way that I timed my energy drain, that it'll come off cooldown as I need to second cleanse. So this was done while I had time to join PUGs, PFs, and other groups to optimize my own rotation for my own personal gains and personal preferences. Right, so I did a mistake here. I kind of just bashed it too early. That's why if I'm cleansing, I would probably just let my GCD just run out. Right, I would probably just miss a cast right there. And over here, it clips so bad. So if you can see, ooh, then yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, just don't rush and take your time, and just weave in your stuff properly. So as she reappears, yeah, so I saved Addle over here because I felt like Aerial Blast did a little bit more damage than the frictions, and I felt like my healers were able to handle friction pretty well. So that's pretty good. So over here, I kind of just let it overcap because it was a mistake. But otherwise, you want to just use Eggy 2, don't overcap it, right? It is a Fester. And then over here, you see energy drain is also coming off cooldown again for me. And my dots, this is when I use DWT. The reason why I held DWT is because I wanted Bahamut to have 2 Akhmorns, and one of the Akhmorns will be on all of the satin plumes when they spawn. So this is when I actually use the DWT. I don't particularly like to rush because it felt really awkward for me. But I think if I'm going back into UWU, I'm probably gonna try pressing things off cooldown. And we'll see if my DPS goes any higher or lower. We'll see how it goes. So over here, energy drain is coming off cooldown, going to trance. You weave in. Yeah, I kind of weaved in the shit because, you know, you wanted to keep everything rolling, right? That's when I refresh my dots. Over here, kind of wait until like 6 seconds before I go into... So you notice how I kind of used up all my DWT rotation, DWT timer? It's because there is no need for me to rush. Right? I felt like there was no need for me to rush, and you kind of need to manage your timers right. Because if you time it well, you will have like better movement, better weave space, and then maybe your summon can be used in a more effective way. So yeah, you need to kind of think, you kind of need to think whether or not you need to delay, whether you need to strictly go straight into Bahamut. It really depends on how you play the class, and this was how I kind of optimized for my own self, right? I am not sure that if this is right or not, but it was very comfy for me, and it worked for me. So I assume that's a win for me, right? So this was when I kind of figured I should probably just use the whole entire trance duration, and then go into Bahamut after that. So here I would have a lot of time, really comfy timing over here. So I had one Akhmorning used onto Garuda itself, so notice I cast 3 hard casts of Ruin 3s, just similar to the level 80 Bahamut opener. Right, over here. I Pain Flare, Swift Cast into Outburst, just to play safe with the Satin Plumes, right? It's just to play safe with the Satin Plumes, and I use Energy Siphon over here to play even more safe, just to get rid of the plumes immediately, right? As a summoner, you need to think if you need to use Outburst or if you need to use Energy Siphon. I decided to play safe and just went with AoEs, so that was what I did. I could have used Swift Cast into a regular Ruin 3, I could have, but I'm trying to get the clear here, so I went the safest route and kind of did what I did right? Right, so over here, this is my insta-cast, 2 seconds left. R2. Alright, R2 into Fester into Garuda. My dots are running out, but I have 1 stack more. So hard cast my dots onto Garuda, and then Fester, and then that is all for Garuda. By right, you shouldn't be seeing the Wicked Wheel. If you're seeing the Wicked Wheel, it's fine. Right? It just means your DPS may not be high enough. This is my team, and they've already been trying to optimize a little bit better for the fight, and that's why we kind of just got it down really fast, really hard. But yeah, that is all for our Garuda phase, and right now we'll move on to Ifrit. Alright, so moving on to the Ifrit phase. This is when my DPS starts to drop like dog shit, because I wasn't sure if what I'm doing is correct or not. But if you're playing Summoner, and if you have a chance to actually optimize for Ifrit, I'd say try it. Right? Try it, and maybe you'll do more DPS than my atrocious DPS that you see on screen on my ACT next. Alright, so moving on to Ifrit. So I'll be breaking this down phase by phase, and timestamps will be in the description down below, so be sure to check out all the phases in my description box. I always do this for all my guides. I will link all my timestamps all down below, just so people don't have to walk through, people don't have to go through the whole entire video if you didn't want to, and if you want to go to certain chapters. So this one is pretty standard. Openers, again, for Ifrit, for each phase and whatever, I will try to put it on screen. There will be certain times that I will be doing things on my own. I will probably just have like a rough idea on what I should be doing. Especially Titan, they were all just no guides, no whatever. I just read like, okay, so use this thing over here. You know, if you can, just do this thing over there, etc, etc. Right? But for Titan phase, it's highly based on my own experience alone, and it's also based off what I prefer to do. I did a few ways for Titan, but this guide will have like a specific way that I personally prefer, but there are actually 2 ways for you to actually do to manage your trends during Titan phase, but that would be in Titan, right? So let's go through Ifrit a little bit, and you will finally get to see my atrocious amount of DPS during Ifrit phase because it's pretty bad. I'm not sure if it's normal, but this is when I do not rush the WT. Reason being is that I'm using my Dread Rim Trends to move. Notice how I will emphasize, sometimes I will emphasize in my video, Dread Rim Trends right now is what I'm using to move, because I am not gonna have all my stacks and I don't want to just use all my Ruin 4 stacks willy-nilly, right? So I'm managing most of my DWT for mainly movement here. This is level 70 summoner, and if I'm not mistaken, I did hear somewhere or someone telling me if you can use DWT to manage your movement. It's an instacast for Ruin 3, so it's pretty good if you use it for movement. But this is where you will actually see my DPS is pretty atrocious. Right, so this is when okay, so devotion over here. There are two ways to use devotion. One is during the nail phase, the other one is during after Hellfire, right? These were the two times that I've used devotion instead of just using it during reopener. Sometimes during reopener, if it's up because your kill time is pretty bad, right? It's pretty long during Garuda phase that your devotion is up for Ifrit opener, I guess that's fine, right? But I'm so used to using my devotion only in these two timestamps. One is during the nail phase and the other is during or after Hellfire, before the Baiter's Bait Eruption, right? That's when I also use it. But I guess if you have it during reopener for Ifrit, go ahead, right? Just use it. So this is when I use the WT. So over here, please, I would want to remind all the ranged players out there, please do not freaking ignore the nails, and please help out your melees to do some damage onto the nails. But let's say if you're a super hot ninja, right? If you're a super spicy hot ninja, or even a samurai, and if they don't mind busting the nails on their own, that's fine, right? But if not, if you're doing it with PF, please, for the love of God, if you can, hurt the nails a little bit so your melees can actually focus on the boss, right? If you're playing a dancer, I think like dancers can AoE the whole arena, right? Like if you put yourself in the middle, you do what? Standard step? It just hits all the nails? That's pretty awesome, right? If you're a machinist, if you're a bard, try to hurt the nails a little bit, right? I told my Dragoon, hey, I'm gonna pick one nail. And you can probably go help the other. Or because both my dancer and myself, we kind of decided, okay, we're gonna focus on the nails, melees just go finish it off, right? We're gonna help you on the nails, melees, you just finish it off. That was what we did with our group over here. Right, so over here, this is when I have DWT over here, right? So 4 seconds or 5 seconds left. What do? I have DEATHFLARE. What do? Boop! I do the, I did it over there. I just blast the nails. I just blasted the nails. The other option that I could have done was to blast Ifrit, because DEATHFLARE would also hit both the front nails. But I wanted to get rid of the back nails first. If at all, the two tanks in front, they will handle the frontal nails, you know, on their own. Right? So DEATHFLARE, I had two choices. I had a choice to DEATHFLARE one nail, or I had a chance to DEATHFLARE Ifrit and also hit the two front nails. But because I know that my tanks know how to handle the front nails, I won't have to struggle, so I'm gonna help with the back nails. That was a thought process that went through my head, and because it was consistent all the time, that I just focused on one nail, and my other Fizz range friend would focus on the other nail. And by that time, over here, notice how I have like stacks to use. I don't have to cast any Ruin 4s because I'm saving for later on. I'm saving it for later on when I need to bait for eruptions and also for Bahamut phase. But I think for this clear, I didn't have a stack of Ruin 4, and I think it was because of poor stack management. So next time if I were to record it again, maybe I'll do better here. And if you realize, yeah, my DPS is pretty awful. Right? So anywho's, notice, you see? If you help your back nails, right, they'll be almost close to death, right? So your melees can finish it off. over here is pretty easy. This is when I actually use 2 stacks over here. See? Both of my stacks, both of the stacks that I got, I kind of just, you know, said, fuck it, I'm gonna use it and kill those nails. That's pretty much it, right? So we don't have any sort of worry whatsoever about the nails not dying. So 2 stacks of Ruin 4 was used for the nails, right? They were both used for the nails, either the back ones or the front ones. Sometimes if your back nails are struggling, you probably will have to burn Ruin 4s and also Ruin 2 casts, because maybe your group's DPS is pretty low and for some reason your melees are not strong enough to finish off the nails for some goddamn reason, or your rangers are not doing their job trying to bump the nails, the ones that are behind. Right? So sometimes you do have to use like a stack of Ruin 4 or both stacks of Ruin 4 and more Ruin 2s, which sometimes you will notice on stream, I go into groups and then you'll see people struggling with nails so much that I have to do everything on my own, right? And it really isn't too hard, it's just annoying. Because I want to minimize the amount of ruins that I'm using most of the time. But sometimes, you know, situation calls for it and, you know, it can't be avoided. Alright. So our nails died pretty smoothly. Like, we didn't have any problems over here. Please excuse me, my monkey noises. So over here, I hardcast dots. So this is also another place for you to use devotion if yours comes off cooldown over here. If you have like a really fast kill time, on Garuda, devotion may be up only in this phase before you split up into your specific roles, right? So over here, I decided that I have like a stack over here, and I have 2 stacks of movement over here. If I had managed it right, I could have hardcasted 3 times before I can use my stacks and go straight into my trance. However, if you notice, I don't rush into Bahamut until I can stop moving. I normally aim to stop moving first and then go into Bahamut. Because every time when I move, if any of your demi summons move too much, some of their super ultimate move, Akhmorning or Revelation, right, for Phoenix, it probably might not go off because they're moving too much. Your pets will prioritize a lot on movement first before they even let their skills go off. So I normally aim to not move first and then try to hit my summons after that, right? So nothing much over there. But here I have my trends coming off cooldown in 5 seconds. So here I had to burn like a stack. I thought I was, you know, I was still too early. So over here, this is when I have my stack. 1 cast straight. This is my cue to go into Bahamut because I know that I'm gonna be sitting here, putting myself pretty over here. And this is when I just did the regular Bahamut stuff. Oh, I can't even speak properly. Right, no swift. Boop. So I think like that was... Oh, I think that was 8 wind waves, but if you pluck my logs, my 8th wind wave and my 8th scarlet flame will never go off, so... no matter what I do. Right, sometimes it goes off, sometimes it doesn't. That's the reason why I need to stop moving first, before I even try to use Akhmorning. Right, that's why I don't use it while I'm moving, because this is gonna have a really hard time for you to even do anything. While you're moving and you go into Bahamut, sometimes your Akhmorning won't even go off until you stick your ass over here. Right? That was what I did. That was what the thought process was going through my head when I figured, you know, if I should use Bahamut over here or if I should use it over there. That was the thought. Right? That was the thought that went through my head. Right, so over here. Right. Oh, it's just nothing much. We dodged the pretty easily. Easy dodges, right? Easy dodges, and then just hardcast. I don't use Try Disaster because this is so low already. There is no point for me to use Try Disaster, and this is just saving all my cooldowns until they all come off during Titan. But yeah, if you notice, my DPS is pretty atrocious. Right? It's pretty atrocious. Alright, so that is it for phase. Now we're going to go on to Titan. We're gonna go on to Titan phase. Alright, cool. Next phase. Also, another phase that I feel like my DPS could have been better, but I think this is also my... I didn't have much time to optimize fully for Titan, but there are actually a few ways that you can actually do this. One is actually use the WT off cooldown, the other one is to do the way I did it. Again, I delayed, right? I primarily use the WT for movement. So as you can see in this particular clear video, I did just that, right? I did just that. Alright, so let's go on to Titan phase. I hope the music is not too loud. Alright, so over here, the opener is gonna be similar to, please excuse the volume. Opener is similar to Ifrit, where you use your Iggy ones, dots, and then you hardcast, and then you go into Enkindle, use one of your Iggies, and then Fester, yeah, etc, etc. All the openers and the fillers will be, again, on screen. And as best as I can, I will try to put all my openers and my fillers... maybe not my fillers, right? Fillers is just mostly Rune 3s and also Iggies. Alright, that's pretty much it. Alright, so I probably won't put my filler openers or my filler rotations on screen at all. But if I can, I'll probably put it. But most likely it will not be on screen. It's just knowing how to manage your stacks and knowing how to manage your hardcasts. That's pretty much it. Alright, so over here. Now we're going to the safe spot. So over here, if you notice, I do not have a stack and my Dreadfume trans is out. Over here, I'm actually not sure if having trans over here is actually good or not, or should I have used it beforehand and probably saved my Eggies to move if I got the Gale, or the Jail. What did I say? Gale? I said a Gale. Oh, anyways, please excuse the way I say things. Like, if I got the Jail, and if I went into trance, and if I'm unlucky enough to get jailed, please hit DEATHFLARE. Please hit DEATHFLARE before you even get jailed. Alright, let's see. I actually forgot if I got jailed or not. Anyways, so here I use a stack, go into trance, and then here I refresh my dots, right? So as a player, please, for the love of God, please do not just rely on callouts by either your ACT or your trigonometry or whatever, right? Don't rely on your friends either. Make it a habit to do this. Turn your freaking camera, look behind, and see which is the safe spot, whether if it's back left or back right, right? I always make it a habit to look for the safe spot. It's going to be a right side. If it's a left side, it's going to scooch over to the left side, right? If you are a good player, you would know how to do this. You look behind, look for the safe spot, and you adjust on your own. Don't, I tell you, do not rely on callouts only. Because if you don't have callouts, you do not have the confidence to actually clear the fight, and you will only rely on callouts alone, which is bad, right? You don't want that. You want to make sure that you are confident with the fight, so make sure you know the mechanics and that you can do it without callouts. So what happens if there is no voice chat, there is no voice comms, you don't have, you know, your ACT or your trigonometry working? Oh, trigonometry is not working, I can't do this and what, all this kind of BS, right? Except for jails during UWU, maybe. But even then, right? Even then, if you know how to communicate with your team without the jail plugins or etc, whatever tools there are out there, like I personally don't use it. Like we have some people who set it up for us, and yeah, I just don't have to bother with it because my buttons are not free for all these little things to be used, right? But even good players, even if you have to YOLO, even if you have to YOLO jails, it can be done, right? Just don't rely on callouts alone. So I know it's a back right, right? Over here. Oh, so I got lucky, and I got lucky and I didn't get jailed. Right? I got lucky and I didn't get jailed. Let's say if I got jailed, right? If I were to get jailed, I would have already noticed my timer was already running out. Press DEATHFLARE. Or you press DEATHFLARE before you get jailed. Because if you don't press DEATHFLARE, that is a huge DPS loss, right? I got lucky and I didn't get jailed, so I had time to actually do this. Right here, wait, hardcast. I know I'm safe, right? Wait for the next safe spot, and then hardcast again. Pretty easy. Right, so over here, if you have devotion, you have to think. right? You have to think, is the party going to kill Titan fast to a point that Devotion will not be up for Ultima? For consistency's sake, I said I will not use Devotion during Titan. I will save my buffs for Ultima. This was when I decided that I will not use Devotion for only Titan. I will use Devotion during Garuda and Ifrit, but not Titan. Because Titan's kill time is so inconsistent most of the time, especially if you join PF. Even the static, sometimes your kill time may vary, maybe because you crit more here or you crit less here. It really depends. So if you're a 3-minute buffer, what I normally do, or what we normally do, is we hold the 3 minutes. We hold the 3 minutes here, and we pray to God that we can actually kill him before the Enrage. Okay, before the Enrage. But if you notice that you have a group of people who lacks the DPS using Devotion and your 3 minutes over here, like Battle Litany, etc., it's good. It's fine. Right? It's fine. So over here, notice how I have my stacks over here. I know that my Bahamut, next time I use it, is gonna be super stacked, right? I'm gonna have 3. I know I'm gonna have like about 3 stacks of Ruin 4s. If I'm lucky, I would get 4. Now, this is how I manage my stacks. I use my stacks really passively because I'm using it to prioritize movement. I don't want to use Ruin 2 at all. This came with a lot of experience and a lot of optimization for specific fights. And because I didn't have much time trying to optimize for this specific ultimate fight, right? Unlike T, I was given so much time to optimize for T that I was able to manage things much better over there. But in P4 for T, because we didn't have much time to optimize, you will notice that when I review my T video again, it's pretty scuffed, right? It's pretty scuffed because I didn't really have enough time to actually optimize for that phase. Right, anyways, over here, I have all my movement. I have everything up. I have all my stacks. I'm not greeting over here. Don't hardcast over here. If you want to hardcast, you want to die here, by all means die, right? But if you want to clear, play safe. Don't die. Just play safe, right? Just play safe. So right here, I know that I'm gonna have 3 stacks on Bahamut later on. So over here, I refresh my dots, use 1 stack, go into Dread Rim Trance. Over here, please murder the jail and don't let your white mage or your healers die, right? What I do consistently over here is we pull Titan close to the Granite Gal, right? Because sometimes our main tank or our pull tank would be we just want to hit the jails as well, just to get rid of it, right? If you don't, you're probably asking to not clear the fight. So please be safe, kill the jail, get your friends out of the jail, and then you proceed on with whatever you need to do onto the boss. So I prioritized on trying to do as much as I can on the jails, and my DEATHFLARE. My DEATHFLARE specifically will be hitting both the jails and also Titan just to get rid of it. Sometimes some situation may call for a single Ruin 4 stack, but I've tried to not do that based off my own rotation right here because I didn't use DWT off cooldown, as you realize from the Titan opener, right? I used it to move, mainly to move, not just for pure DPS. Okay, so that was the one thought process that was going through my head. Just make sure I have my instacast, right? Just cast, get my white mage out of the jail, and then I refocus onto Titan, right? I did mention that if I were to DEATHFLARE, I could DEATHFLARE Titan and also the jail, but for this one we kind of just killed the jail pretty fast because everyone was on the jail, which is correct, right? You want everyone to hit the jail just to get your friends out of it, right? Because if one person dies in this phase, it can get really messy. I will tell you why I don't res, right? Maybe at the end of the video, I will probably just add a note on why I don't res, and I will only save certain reses for certain situations only. For all the primal phases, if you notice, I will never use res for anything at all. I will not use res for Garuda, I will not use res for Ifrit, and as best as I can, I will not use res for Titan as well, unless my 2 healers has nothing, has no resources, no reses for anyone who's at the wall, and if I need to do it, I will do it. Right? That was my rule of thumb. I am not going to focus on resing. I will focus on the boss and try to kill it as fast as possible so we don't have to go through too many mechanics. Right? So over here, please do not be too close to Titan. Just a reminder, do not be too close to Titan. If you are too close to the Titan, right, you're going to get flung off. Our tank has really big balls, man. Really, really, really ballsy move. Right, so over here, you see, I had a chance to go into Bahamut, right? I had a chance, but you see how I'm prioritizing my movement with DWT before I go into trance? Before I go into Bahamut? Exactly, that was what I meant, right? I'm using DWT to move. To move before I actually go into Bahamut phase. I'm sorry, is the music too loud? I hope not. It's probably too loud in my ears though. Yeah, it probably is. Alright. You can probably barely hear anything, but if you do, haha, good job. Right, so here, because I don't need to move for quite a while, this is when I use Bahamut phase. This is when I go into Bahamut. Again, I will like to emphasize, I am not sure if this was done correctly. This was only optimized for my own personal gains, right? So over here, I told myself I'm gonna save Swift for an emergency. So if you go back to my clear video that I just posted, I did mention that I will save Swift in case if anyone dies. But if you notice, Titan is already at 10%. Titan is already at 10%, and my focus now is I will not use res to res. I will not use Swiftcast to res. I will just focus mainly on the boss. I will kill the boss, so we don't have to suffer through any more mechanics. Right? I will not res anyone who dies. And fortunately, we're a group, right? And we've already practiced this fight so long. I think it was as a group here, we took only 6 days. We took probably 6 days to optimize it properly to get the killer, you know, to get the clear. It was just 6 days. But for me, I've joined other groups and I've joined PF to help optimize my own self. And I think some of them have done the same thing where they join other groups, you know, just to practice and optimize and optimize as a group, right? We optimize with PF, try to get some insight on what could be done in this situation here and there. And when we get together as a group, then we start to use those 6 days that we had to clear the fight together. Oof. Alright, so here my main focus is to focus on killing the boss. So here I had like a stack, so don't use your 2 minutes. The cue to not using your 2 minutes is when the boss is below like around 10%. That's when you want to save your buffs for reopener for Ultima phase. So anytime a boss, like from Garuda, Ifrit to Titan, if the boss is at about 10%, you should probably save your 2 minutes. Don't use your 2 minutes and save it for the next phase, right? Alright, that's pretty much it for Titan. Okay. Alright, cool. That's pretty much it for Titan though. It may, I mean, maybe this part of the video may not be too clear, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to just pop in my stream and maybe I can answer you verbally. Like if you have any questions at all, maybe take note of the questions that you have and then maybe I can just verbally explain it to you. It's probably going to be very impromptu because sometimes when I type things out, I feel like I can type it out better, but maybe showing it to people is probably better in my opinion, rather than me just typing out text that may not make sense at the end of the day. Right, anyways, now we're moving on to the final phase of UWU. So for this one, it is based off the guides, so I will link the Akhmorning in the description box below, so be sure to go check it out. I think occasionally I will probably just flip here and there, just to go through what was in the guides and what I did to fit my own situation. Just to fit my own situation. Alright, so anyways, yeah, moving on to Ultima. Alright, so here comes the final phase, Ultima phase, which is one of those phases that it kind of took me a while to understand what I had to do and what I had to press during certain times. And I realized that there were some things that could have been done better. For example, managing 3 of my Enkindles. Much better. Alright, your 2 minutes can be used, I think, 3 times during Ultima phase. So if you use it well, if you have if you have it optimized, it would have been aligned together. Right? Alright, anyways, oh god, I am... Oh, hold up, let me just chug down some water as we go through the transition for Titan. Please excuse my monkey noises that's about to come by, because I did the macro. So this macro, you can, if you're a caster and you probably want to do your self-target LBE, it's also possible. And it's really useful for this whole thing. So yeah, you want to self-target yourself and use LB. So I was doing monkey noises over here because I had like a whole bunch of macros, which I will probably just put it down in the description below. So yeah, feel free to just use it now. Anyways. Okay, so over here, what you want to do is, I wanted 1 stack of Dreadream, right? So what I did was just used all my stacks over here, use DEATHFLARE, do whatever I want. Alright, so this opener, I will link it, just hit La Habrea, right? La Habrea. And I prefer the 1 stack for now, but there is also another opener for Ultima where you have 2 stacks, and then your opener would have, you just go straight into Bahamut, right? You go straight into Bahamut with the swift cast. Reason why I didn't want to use that specific method was because I wanted to save swift casts in case of any sort of emergency res that I needed to do. So I stuck to this this specific opener, which kind of depends. You know, sometimes you'll have like 1 stack, 2 stacks, depending on how fast you kill Titan, right? Depending on what you do for Titan. So what I did for Titan in the previous phase was I did what I did, and it was consistently always at 1 stack for me. Right. Alright, so anywho's, yeah, let's get on to Ultima. So this one is your suppression spots. Yeah, no big deal. Right, no big deal. Just watching chicken nugget get eaten. No big deal. The opener for Ultima will be on screen, wherever it may be. Also, why do I have stacking events? Alright, cool. Okay, go ahead. Alright, so here we pot, and the opener for Ultima will be linked down below as well, or it'll be on screen as well. If you want to read, it's in the Akhmorning website that I will be linking it in the description box below, so be sure to go check it out. So this is your regular Bahamut opener for Ultima phase alone. And predation starts. See, over here. Yeah. Hit sprint during predation. So you want to hit sprint, look at where the safe spot is. So you know this area here and this area here is not safe. And I think this area had Ifrit, so that's why you went to the only safe spot, which is C. Yeah. There, you could possibly go there, you know, towards the B side, but you probably don't want to. C is probably the safer one. It's so free. Alright, this one is so safe. Alright. So the 4th rune, right over here, let's be safe. For the scream and go. Alright, so over here, this one, I felt like it was done pretty well on my end, where I kind of sort of perfected my own self. See, again, I'm not sure if what I'm doing is right or not, right? I just read the guides and I'm like, okay, I got the rough idea, I got your timeline, I got the timeline in my head, and I kind of know what to do. And, you know, this was really based off experience and how well you know your class. But I won't say that I'm a professional in this class. I am not. I'm only doing based off what I think I know and what I feel may be right. But sometimes when I do things, I will always emphasize it may not be correct and it may not be what you want to do as well. So make sure when you play classes that you main, or even if you want to learn, know the basics first before you try to follow anyone's logs or you want to follow guides and such. Just make sure you know the basics of the class first. Alright. Here I want to just start uncapping. I just want to start uncapping and a hard cast like once. And then my DWT is almost off cooldown, going to trance. See, movement again. I always prioritize the usage of DWT for movement. Right, over here. So I wait. You see, I'm using the whole entire duration. right? Over here is going to be back left, right? Right? That was pretty ballsy of me. So over here I did a mistake. What I could have done was I could have used one Enkindle and then put my energy drain off cooldown. So over here this is pretty bad. You're supposed to, I knew the mistake that was made and I kind of realized it a little bit too late. So over here I was greeting. I was actually greeting. I was greeting because I didn't want to use any stacks whatsoever and I wanted to save for Annihilation, right? If you want to play save, like me hardcasting over here was pretty ballsy, man. But my Q to hardcast was 4 to 3 seconds of my dots again and then I recast, right? And then I hardcasted over here, which was pretty ballsy of me. I've never done this before. It was only for this fight that I figured, oh my god, if I could do it, I'm gonna try it, right? So now I'm gonna uncap my stacks again. Okay, we're gonna uncap. So now I have 3 stacks. Over here, this was when I decided I can go straight into Bahamut after. I think I went straight into Bahamut. Did I go straight into Bahamut? I did, yeah. Like maybe about 3 casts and I go straight into Bahamut. Right, over here, just do what I needed to do. Over here, please hit sprint. You stack over here, you hit sprint. Once the dash goes off, you go straight into it. You see how the movement was so smooth? I'm using Ruin 2s here because I didn't want to risk hardcasting. Only when I feel like there is time for me to hardcast, I will hardcast. Over here, see, Enkindle was used at the wrong time. I saw Divination go off and I'm like, oh fuck, maybe I should use it too. Right, that's just to keep my my buffs aligned. Also, where the fuck is my mouse? There you go. So over here, my movement, I feel like I did pretty okay for my movement itself. Right, this is active. Yeah, this is after Annihilation. Yeah, this is after Annihilation. Yeah, this part right here was pretty ballsy of me. Yeah. But you notice how I swift cast? I swift casted over here and I prayed to God that nobody died over here. So I don't have any reses. So in a clear group, by right, you shouldn't make all these silly mistakes by dying to stupid things. That's why I felt like I'm gonna use my swift cast aggressively right now. And I'm not gonna focus mainly on resing anymore. Right? This is a clear group and you shouldn't make too many mistakes if you know the fight well. Over here. See, I saw both the 2 minutes went off, right? I felt like I should probably just do it as well, just to keep them all aligned. Well, this is active 2, if I'm not mistaken, this is active 2. Right, so we managed to push past 50% and we went straight into suppression after. It's pretty good DPS, I'd say. So, suppression, so after the first blast, you see DWT is almost off cooldown. What you want to do, hit it. Count 1, 2, 3, I am the minstrel song, right? You see the jail? What you want to do with the jail is kill the fucking jail, right? Don't kill it. Don't not kill it. So use DEATHFLARE, and unfortunately I got assassinated by a windburn because either it was my mistake for moving that side of the map, or somebody was just moving too early that I got assassinated by it. So it was actually my fault, right? It was probably my fault. And I am very fortunate to have a very, very active white mage. If you guys want to watch a very good white mage POV, I would totally recommend Catnip Black. He is one of the best white mages I've ever met and I've ever played with. He doesn't greed for DPS, but his DPS is also pretty high, right? He wants to make sure that everyone stays alive. So he doesn't have to bother too much about resing. Everyone stays alive. Kill the boss for me. That's all I'm gonna be, that's all I'm gonna care about. Alright? If you guys want to catch him stream, he records runs. He records a lot of his runs. So I'll probably link some of my members over here who streams their POVs in Ultimates and in Savage fights as well. So make sure that to just go check the description box for some of their streams. And yeah, if you really want to know how to play White Mage. A lot of people will tell you White Mage in UWU is fucking horrible. A lot of people will tell you this. It is not uncommon. It's very common for you to hear this. And I think it's mostly because White Mage's kit at level 70 is very lackluster, because I think you don't have your AoE, your burst healing. Right, so you notice that you have to cast Q3s, Medicas, you have to hard cast Q2s, all these sort of things. I don't play White Mage, so I would say go watch Catnip, and yeah, just watch his POV. He's co-healer that normally heals with him in Savage if you want to learn how to Scholar as well. Emma, who is my Dragoon right here. Right, Emma in my UWU clear here. She plays a really good Scholar too. So she also records a POV, so I will definitely link all their Twitch links down below so you guys can go back and watch their POVs and how they manage their cooldowns. Alright, so I had a really good White Mage here. I got hit by Windburn, and he was given the call, okay, Summoner has got hit by Windburn, please look out for her. Right? And then he was like pressing all these buttons just to keep me alive, and I was like, holy shit, you're a fucking god, man. Right, as you can see, I got hit by Windburn. Oh my god. Look at that. See, I got hit. See? The heals went off. Tetra went off. Stellar went off. Everything went off. Holy fuck, I don't know if the Benediction went off. I had Divine Benediction. I had everything. So over here, it was a life and death situation. Notice how my Astro died. Right? And because Cat was already doing so much in terms of healing, I had Swift Cast. This was why I decided I should save Swift. Deaths happening over here is also pretty common, because people may have mistimed their what's that called? People may have mistimed their steps or their movement for the landslides, and it can happen that you can actually die, which is pretty normal. So over here I had Swift Cast, and the instant my healer died, I was like, okay, that's a res from me. Right? That's a res that I needed to do. This was the correct decision. Right? This was the correct decision where I res. Right? So over here, that was the one thing. Okay. Over here, it was really a life and death situation. I think he popped like a mana pot, so he kind of got all his needed MP to cast a shield, so we don't die to the tank or to Ultima. So right now it's a 3 boom, and because my White Mage has already burned all of his resources just to heal me, just because of that one Windburn, we had to improvise on the go. Right, we had to make sure that we don't rush to pop the next ball just to save ourselves from dying from the lack of healing, because one of our healers died. Right, so over here we decided we need to slow down. Right, we do not have an insta-cast heal here. So pop it, wait for the heals, and then go. Our tank died over there because I think he popped it too early, and my other tank wasn't there. I think my other tank wasn't there. When he went there, that's why he probably ate it on his own, that's why he died. So over here, I didn't have the Swift Cast, and the call was to keep our co-tank, keep our other tank alive, while we wait for the next cooldown, while we wait for the next res to come off. Right? This was the other one that we had to make sure we don't panic. You know, just make sure we don't panic and have everything just go downwards. Alright, again, so DWT over here, this was a mistake that I made. So what I could have done was, I should have already used... This was a mistake I did, and I forgot that when you're... During this whole phase, this was the call to go into Bahamut already. I didn't realize that I was overcapping over here. So if I had known better, because I was already panicking, right, because of the death and all, I could have just used another... Yeah, I could have used another Eggy to get 2 stacks of Ruin Force, and that could have boosted my DPS a little bit. So over here, I could have just hardcasted Ruin 3s and the usual stuff when I had to move. You use Ruin 2s because I didn't have a stack, right? Right, over here, please don't hardcast. Please don't hardcast too much. I saved... Over here, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna use Swift too aggressively now because we are so close to the end. I'm just gonna wait, right? I'm gonna wait to see if there is a Swift needed for a res, just in case. But by right, if your group is strong, you will not die during this phase. If you die during Primal Roulette, you're trolling. Right, honestly, you're trolling. That's all. Alright. So here, you save the buffs until the Enrage pops. Right? Over here, just play safe. I had my Eggies. I was very fortunate that I had some stacks over here to burn. So again, my DWT is coming off cooldown again. I am going to use the whole entire duration. I think I used the whole entire duration, right? Right, 1, 2, And then before Ultima pops away... See, again, I'm not sure if what I'm doing is right or not. So before he pops away, read it. And then we hardcast. So this was the end. Look at all our health. Alright, so here we pot, and that was... yeah, that's the end. So over here is just mostly just casting over and over again. This was the clear. So the goal is to hit 15% right after Primal Roulette, and that was what we did. Oh, see, I kind of mistimed my ruin stacks again, because haha. Alright, so yeah, that was the clear. So I kind of just spammed ruin too at this point because it's already dead. Nah, I just wanted to get as many casts as I can. Right. Like if I had known, if I'd done better, I would have casted just ruin 3s. Right. But yeah. It's really nothing much. I guess if you have any questions, again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to just drop like these questions on my stream. Like you can just tell me, oh hey, you know, why didn't you do this during this, and then if you have any suggestions at all. I don't really enjoy backseat gaming, right? I don't enjoy backseat gaming, but I am more than happy to receive any sort of advice, even by players who actually know how to play the class and would suggest that I do this, I can try this out, and not be too condescending enough and shove your logs in my face and be too big ego about it, right? But I do not appreciate people who think that, oh, I've done better here, yeah, you should do this, you should do that, versus maybe you could try this, right? If you can, you could try this or this and see what your DPS output can be. The day that this log was posted, I think I got like a... I mean, the log is in my profile if you wanted to look me up. When I posted that, it was I think an 88, which was quite surprising. Right? It was quite surprising. I didn't even know it was possible for me to get that number, but apparently it was. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that was all for this video. Okay, so as for... no. I'm gonna probably just end the video right now. So the next video I will probably be uploading is gonna be T. Oh, I think that one's gonna take a while. That one's gonna take a while because it took me quite some time to optimize things for myself properly. But unlike UWU, T was slightly more... I think it was easier for me because it was so systematic that I had like a certain timeline to follow and to press certain things. So I had like a timeline to follow. That was pretty much what T was for me, and among the 3 ultimates that I have done, I think my favorite fight is still T. So yeah, I think my T video is going to be really long, but this video is already long. So yeah, again, I will link all the whatever necessary tools or whatever images that I said I would be posting up. It will all be down below. If not, they'll be on screen. And I will definitely break this video down into timestamps, so be sure to go check my description down below, and check me out on stream every weekends when I do ultimates. Right now I'm focusing on UCOB, and if you guys want to learn how to raid mage. I am not a good raid mage. I picked up raid mage only recently just for UCOB. Right? Alright, so yeah, that's all for this video. Thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, we'll see you guys again next time. Thank you all!